PUBG Weekly is back. What's up guys, Krimson here for PUBG Weekly. We're back. We had a bit of a hiatus as there was many other things going on, and unfortunately it's just me this week as Froz and Poro are off gallivanting, doing casting and whatnot. But the plan is to get some more guests to come on, have some more discussion, talk about specifically PEL, and then any other events as and when they turn up. We're looking to do this hopefully every week from now until at least the end of PEL is what I'm hoping to do. So we've had the appetizer, PEL, we've had the starter, PELC, and now we're on to the main course, that's PEL, the PUBG Europe League. Been a long time coming, there's been a lot of delays. We've just had PELC, which has sort of hyped the scene up, so I think it's fair to say everybody is ready to see some PUBG European action finally. It kicks off this Thursday, March the 21st, starting at 1700 GMT, 1800 CET. You can check the link below for the PUBG Esports website. There's a lot of information on there, including the schedule, so make sure you know what time it is in your time zone. So yeah, I'm looking forward to it. I thought I would do this first video on my expectations of teams in the league. So what I'm trying to do here is, I feel like it's pretty difficult to do predictions. There's not been a lot of tournament games, big international events, anything like that since, well, for the last couple of months really, whilst we've been waiting for the Pro League to come out. So there's not a lot to judge the teams on in terms of doing a solid prediction 1 to 16 list. Instead, what I'm going to do is how well I expect them to do. So whether I expect them to finish high, which I'm judging round about sort of top 3 or in contention for winning the league at least. Medium, which is, you know, somewhere up to 5th, 4th, or down to about 8th, somewhere in that sort of region. And then low, if I expect them to be finishing in the bottom half of the table for phase 1. Now, again, disclaimer, this is like a particularly difficult prediction to do, I feel like, because we haven't seen a lot of these teams. We've seen a lot of roster changes, which I'll go through when we go through the teams. So a lot of this is just guesswork and based on previous results and that sort of thing. So take it with a pinch of salt. So I'm going to start with the teams that I have high expectations of, as I don't think there's anything too surprising in this list. First of all, FaZe, obviously a strong lineup who's been dominating the scene for a long time, and I don't see any reason why that can't continue in PEL, so I am expecting high things, good things from them. At the same time, Team Liquid is also going on the list. The only note about Team Liquid is, since Jempty's joined, it has changed up the dynamic on the team a little bit. They only got 8th in GLL Season 3 finals, which I know is not what they were aiming for. So hopefully they've had time to work those kinks out. They've just got a new coach, so hopefully that's all sorted out. You know, either way, I'm still going to expect to see good things from them coming into PEL. Then we've got Red Diamonds. Again, I'm expecting high things from this team. They did well at the closed qualifiers. They did well at GLL Season 3. They have had, let's say, a few blips on the radar with one of their team having to leave, but the lineup is still very strong. They picked up a doozy instead, previously playing for Team Unique, and he is a very strong fragger and a strong player, and I think he's a really good pickup for the team. So I am expecting this high fragging playstyle to come out from Red Diamonds, and that's going to complement the point system, the new point system that we're using for PEL. It's only going to be good for them to have that strong lineup of fraggers, so I expect good things from them. And on the same vein, it's G2, previously Penta, who again did well at the closed qualifiers and have this high frag playstyle, aggressive playstyle, where they like to push a lot of teams and get a lot of kills. So hopefully they can bring that to the PEL, rack up a lot of points doing that, and end as one of the top 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 teams as a result of that. I'm certainly expecting good things from that team. So the first team that I have medium expectations of is going to be Jokers. That's maybe a little bit surprising to some people because obviously they won the closed qualifiers, but that is in general a lower level lobby than we expect PEL to be, and it's only one result so far that we've seen from them. They're going to have to work hard, I think, to compete against the highest level teams here. However, not taking anything away from their achievements at the closed qualifiers, and they are an aggressive team with some really strong fragging potential. So similar to what I've been saying before, it's going to benefit them with this new point system, and I think they're going to get a lot out of it if they kind of get together and get that momentum going. On almost the opposite side of that would be Na'Vi, a team that does have a strong history of good results. However, my expectations for them are not the highest, purely because it is basically a different lineup than what we would consider the glory days of Na'Vi. Draenus, Pokemolodoy, Shade, and Uber. There's only Pokemolodoy left in the roster at the moment, so it's a very different team from the one that we sort of think about in our heads as winning multiple tournaments back in would have been sort of the middle of the year last year. So it's a very different lineup. We haven't had a chance to really see this lineup play in very much, and as they were changing and swapping the rosters, the results were dropping basically as they did that. So we've yet to see them really achieve with this roster. Battlin and Sadovnik that they brought in are definitely good players. There's nothing wrong with them, and Recurrent as well seems to be a really high fragging player as well. So if they can put all that together and make it work, then they will do well. But we've yet to really see anything from this roster yet to say for sure that this is going to be a high achieving team. And I think it's a similar story for ENCE, previously Accelerate Gaming, previously won. There is a huge amount of potential in this roster, no doubt. There's some very strong players on the team, and they've been together now for quite a while, so they have that synergy built up, but we just haven't seen any previous big wins out of them or high placements that would suggest that they can get all the way to the top. I'm not saying they can't get there, but we just haven't seen the evidence to suggest that they will get there. So again, it's definitely one that was on the fence for me between medium and high expectations for this team. But right now, I think with the previous results, coming 12th in GLL Season 3 finals, they just haven't quite got to the point where I can say that they are going to be one of the top PEL teams. Ninjas in Pajamas is another team that was on the border really for me between middling to high expectations, because they have had some good results in the past, but they've also had some middle of the table results, and the most recent results, Season 3 Grand Finals, coming in 11th. If we're judging purely on that, it's not enough really for me to put them into the top couple of teams in PEL. However, the team has been around for a long time. They have a lot of experience, a lot of LAN experience as well, which is useful in this environment. So hopefully they can put that together, get the cohesion working, get the teamwork together, because I think individually all these players are really strong. So if they can get all that together, make it work, I think they can achieve. But I think it's most likely that they're going to be somewhere in the middle of the table in Phase 1, towards the top of the middle, but still not in that sort of top 3 placement. One of the dark horse teams for me riding that line between low and medium expectations would be Digital Athletics, previously known as Team Ready. This is a team that's had a lot of sort of controversy really surrounding the lineup, in particularly Iroh, who has been accused of cheating, and I think Iroh is a really good player, and the rest of his team grind the game a lot, they play a lot. However, same as I've said with previous teams, they haven't had a lot of good results, and not only that, they've mostly played in the NA scene before this, and then came through the MEA qualifiers to get into the European closed qualifiers. So for me, those are weaker scenes than we're talking about with the PEL, and they haven't really had a chance to prove themselves against the top European teams. So I'm going to be interested to see how they do. I think it's probably going to be a lot of pressure on Iroh to carry the team, because honestly, and no offense to the guys, I don't think the other 3 members on that team are up to his level yet, and whether they can put that together and work together as a team to compete against these higher level PEL teams, I'm just not sure. However, I'm giving them the benefit of the doubt, about putting them into the medium expectations. Hopefully they'll surprise me, come out with some big plays. Iroh's a clutch master, so maybe he can get those extra placement points they need and push themselves up to the middle of the table. Windstrike as well, previously Sauna Boys and previously Havu before that. They again have a lot of potential. They are on the line between low and medium for me purely because of results. They came 7th in the qualifiers, which was obviously a closed qualifiers without the highest level PEL teams in it, and still coming 7th is great. You know, qualifying, don't want to take anything away from that again, but it's not the highest result, and before that they've not really had a lot to show in terms of high placements in international events. However, I think there is a lot of potential in this lineup. They've been together for quite a while, and the core of the team has been together for a very long time, back when they were Havu towards the start of the scene. So there's a lot of experience there on the players. Hopefully they can put that together and come out with a medium sort of place finish, medium expectations for the team, as I said, but we will wait and see on that one. Finally then, for some of the more controversial picks, the teams that I have low expectations of coming into PEL. First off, I'm going to start with Crow Crowd. I think it's fair. I think they would probably even admit that they are not expected to be the highest performing team in the PEL lobby. They didn't even make it to the qualifiers. They got into the closed qualifiers because another team got disqualified, and then managed to make it from there into the top group and then qualify for PEL. So, you know, really well done by them to do that, of course. However, I don't think their level of gameplay has been tested against the best teams yet. I don't think that they are going to be able to compete on that level in this first phase at least. So I'm interested to see how they do, but I don't expect anything surprising out of them in this first phase. I'm also not expecting too much out of M19, although previously they did hold a position as one of the best CIS teams in the past. That was a previous roster with a bit of a change-up coming in really for PEL, changing out 2 players, and maybe it's my inexperience with the CIS scene, but the Wanderer and EHOT, the names that have joined M19, are not particularly familiar to me, so I don't know really anything about them, whether or not they are good players or not. And the core of the team really, Battle-In and then XMPL getting removed due to some accusations and game bans, etc. But those sort of things are really going to hurt the team, and to pull together a new roster of potentially relatively new players or not particularly high performing players, I don't expect them to be able to pull out those high wins. On top of that, their previous playstyle that got them that success was based on placements, not kills. They were never a particularly high fragging team when they got to that position, so the new point system doesn't reward pure placements anywhere near to what the old point system did. So again, that's going to change the playstyle up if they are still sort of following that same plan, and that's probably going to hurt them as well. So normally we would look at CIS teams as being quite aggressive, getting the points through kills. If that's not the case with this team, then I don't see them really achieving very much in the first phase of PL. Vitality is a team that I want to do well, but I don't expect that they will do well initially. The reason that I say that is purely because, again, roster changes, they do affect the team. Nasus joining the team recently, they've not had a chance to play any major tournaments with him, which is, in my opinion, a big deal and is going to hurt, because if the only thing you have to do is scrims, we know that the quality of gameplay in scrims is nothing like the high level competition, and I don't know how that team's going to gel together, having not had a chance to really practice against this kind of lobby before. They also lost Yannick, who was as far as I know, the in-game leader, and if that's the case, then changing up your game style, changing up your IGL with not much time to practice is also potentially a difficult position to be in. The upside though, they've picked up Hayes as a coach analyst for the team, which is a good pickup. I think he's a lot of competitive knowledge, so that's a plus side for them. But overall, they've not had particularly good results in the past anyway, and then on top of that, changing up the roster, I think it's going to be a struggle for them in the first phase.
Knights is probably one of the more controversial picks for the low expectation bracket. They haven't had particularly good results in the past, although they're always put in as a top team. They have had a lot of their results with Texas on the lineup. How much difference he had or not is hard to say, but obviously having been banned for cheats now, it's hard to look at those previous results without that sort of hanging over their head, unfortunately. The guys, Voxix, Drayden, Kramer, they're all really good players, no doubt, and then they picked up Reels to replace Texas. For me, Reels is an odd choice. He's not been in any particularly good teams in the past. He's not had any particularly good results as a player, so I'm really interested to see whether he can sort of fill in Texas's boots in terms of the high fragging and team fighting ability that Texas brought to the team, even if he was cheating and etc. Interested to see how Reels works with the team there, and how the team dynamic works with such a big sort of controversial event happening to the team. It's bound to affect them, so we will see. They do have now Aflux picked up as the coach. I think he's a really good coach and he's done good work in the past. He's probably going to be very good for the motivation of the team and get that mental state in, which they really are going to need after these big changes. But they've had a lot of downtime. Obviously scrims are scrims. It's not the best practice. So for me, all those factors coming in together, I'm going to put them for now as a low expectations for phase 1 in terms of pushing their way up the leaderboard. Another team I have low expectations for is Team Solo Mid. They have a lot of fraggers on the team, but they've shown so far to lack that cohesion, that team play that they need to really participate against the biggest PEL teams. They made it through the qualifiers in 9th position, which is relatively low in what should be a lower skilled lobby than PEL. So already it's a difficult position that they find themselves in. Then they've had a change of roster. They've picked up Michael, who is a great guy, but his previous results have not been the best, so to bring him now into the team and get him back up to a top PEL player level, and on top of that I think that Rory, his previous experience in the team has never really been at that highest PEL player level either, so I think Gustav and Wookie are going to have to do their best to carry this team basically and see if they can push their way up the leaderboards, but I'm not expecting them to be able to do that in phase 1. We will see how they progress, if they can get the coordination together, the cohesion of the team together. I think they could do a lot better than that, but I don't think that's going to be in place before the end of phase 1, to be honest. Finally, Raise Your Edge Gaming. They, for me, are a bit of a mixed bag. I'm not sure. I've put them in the low expectations category for now, and that is mainly because the sort of driving force of the team, at least how it appeared to me, the captain of the team, Maverick, was dropped and Snark was picked up, and that's going to change the dynamic of the team quite a lot. They did do pretty well in the close qualifiers, coming in 5th, so can't take away any of that achievement, but the roster of the team previously, none of the roster has particularly high results under their belts. I think individually they're probably all capable of playing at high PEL level, but whether they can put that together in the team, I'm just not so sure. Really, for me, this one was a bit of an unknown because we don't know a lot about how the team played other than through the qualifiers, and then they've made a big change to the roster. So it's a hard one. I just don't have high expectations of them for that reason. Maybe they'll come out and surprise me. Maybe they'll put it together and push their way up the table. But for me, at least, given what I've seen so far, I don't think they're going to be pushing the tops of the leaderboards in phase 1.
Okay, so we're trying to keep this video shorter, so that's going to conclude it for now. Let me know what you think on my expectations for the teams. Was I right? Was I wrong? Was I too harsh or maybe too lenient on some of these teams? Let me know in the comments or Twitch or Twitter or wherever you want to go. It's at PUBG_weekly if you want to follow us on Twitter for all the latest updates. Hopefully we will be doing this next week, where we will update everyone on the results of the first week of PEL and give you some thoughts, opinions, hopefully get some guests on, have a chat with them. And yeah, so look for us around about Wednesday next week, and hopefully we'll see you then.